Welcome back. Thought you'd return. Chris Wilder, the Sheffield United manager. Great pleasure that we're very honoured that he could join us again this evening in this summer of triumph for Sheffield United, looking ahead to the Premier League. James, you've got a busy sporting region to round up.
Definitely.
In fact, both of you were at the cricket last Sunday, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on that, because it's bad enough sitting at home, the tension. I've never seen anything like that in my life. But before we just kick off, thoughts and commiserations with the family of Robert Jackson, Bob Jackson, as we all knew him, who passed away a few days ago at the age of 88. A great sporting character, BBC Radio Sheffield fame, praise and grumble, and a guy who, above all, didn't just cover the sport. He cared deeply about the good of the sport that he covered. It was a pleasure to know Bob and the many kindnesses he did me in the course of his life. So a sad loss for us all. And you all have known Bob very well.
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah.
Character?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were talking about it a couple of days ago. From my era, it was after the game, it was praise and grumble and go and get the green and queue up for the green, and win it. And that was the two things. One little story when we lived up at Gleedless, myself, Bob Buck, and Tony Agarn, who had a game on a Sunday in the FA Cup when we were in the old third division, and we got Tony Agarn to ring up and wish Sheffield United all the best for the Sunday, in his Yorkshire accent. So we had a bit of a giggle about that. But yeah, Bob was a fantastic supporter of local sport in this area, and obviously it's a sad miss.
Were you ever grumbled about?
Well, I should imagine so along the way. Yeah. I mean, it's players, even though they say they don't want to listen to any of that stuff, they sometimes stick the radio on, and you want to hear nice things, I suppose, when you win, and not so nice things when you're not doing so well.
No. You do listen to anything like that these days?
No message boards, no phone-ins.
You've missed out on some compliments.
Yeah, I know it's coming back the other way, and because it's you have to keep winning, don't you? So no, it's such a fabulous area to be involved in it, and but said every night there's an opinion, and shows you how much people in the area love the football.
Is it? I mean, I was going to say, is it hard to stay grounded? I know it's not for you because.
No.
I mean, there was something the other week, I think, you still take the bus, right?
I do,
into town.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Is that becoming more difficult and problematic now?
Well, I do, because it's 5 minutes from where I live, and it takes me to where I want to be.
Yeah, and you can have a drink.
I can have a couple of beers and get back on, or whatever, but now and again, not every day, but I don't see why not. I mean, I've got, James will know, I've definitely got pals and family who definitely keep me grounded, so there's no way we can get above ourselves where I'm from.
No, that's the Premier League needs a bit of that.
Yeah, just a bit.
In my view.
The media stuff, that's ramped up, I'm guessing, a little bit. Obviously, I suppose it was quite a lot in the Championship to begin with, but next season it's obviously global, isn't it, the Premier League?
Yeah, I mean, we've had the LMA in today, we've had Premier League meetings, I've talked to people about it. I might have to calm down a little bit. I think there's somebody was saying it might have to be a GoFundMe page that might have to help me out with the amount of times I'm going to get into trouble this year. But I don't really want to, change the way I've been. When I came into the football club, I was going to say it as it is, and I have done all my career. And I said something a couple of weeks ago, and straight away I thought it was quite funny. Obviously, it wasn't. And I spoke to Kev, our media man, and he said possibly there's a fine on the way straight away. That's early on, so. I don't want to get fined too much, but I think obviously.
But you've signed a new contract, haven't you?
Yeah, the coverage that obviously the Premier League gets is amazing and immense.
How are you feeling about VAR?
Well, I've got to say, I wasn't a lover. I was old school, let the game flow. Referees make mistakes just as much as players, managers make mistakes. But I've changed my tune. I think it's going to be a benefit to everybody. I think it takes out the old away at Manchester United in the final 5 minutes dodgy penalty scenario, because I think the percentages what they're trying to work to get the right decisions is going to help teams like us as well. And I suppose, but I've we had the guys in. As I said, they came and put a presentation on. It was very, very impressive. You know, the place at Stockley Park where all the referees and the pods and it's unbelievable. So I think, you know, I've changed tune a bit, but
it's interesting. Maybe you've got less to fear than most because essentially you're a hard but fair team that doesn't indulge in the play acting and the getting people sent off, and do you? So what have you got to fear from the extra?
No, I mean,
probe?
listen, our disciplinary record was for a competitive side last year was very, very good. So I don't want us to take that out of our game. It's a natural thing that the players possess. And I always said, to get on the ball and pass the ball, you've got to win the ball. So how do you win it? By winning headers, winning tackles, winning races. And we're an aggressive, competitive side. And but we have to make sure that we get the balance right.
Tell you what, handball though is nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
Yeah, that is a bit of it.
Yeah.
Defenders having to. Well, you agree?
Yeah. Well, the new rules came out, and even, you know, out in Portugal, you know, I know James Shields commented on it. There was
the penalty, wasn't it?
The referee when the ball hit the referee and went through to Billy, and he's tapped it in, and the ball got given back to the opposition, and obviously the walls as well. I think it's anything over 3 people in a wall that you're allowed to add to, but anything less you're not allowed to. So
there's a lot to think about. Do you look when the fixtures came out? How sort of closely did you study it in terms of blocks of games, setting targets for blocks of games, or
dangerous.
Anything of that?
No, dangerous. Never done it. No. Never done it. I think if you get behind, you put more pressure on your team. So we'll go one game at a time, and we'll try and win that next game. Our record when we've got beat has been quite good in the Championship. We know we're going to lose 2, 3, 4 games on the bounce. I've always had that, you know, in a sort of a thought process about, you know, you can lose 1, you can lose 2, you know, let's not lose 3, and you certainly can't lose 4. So, we might have to, if we go through that little period, adjust and look at our approach. But I don't want to really change a lot in terms of the way we play and our attitude to the games, and
have a go.
Yeah, have a go. I think, you know, especially Bramall Lane, I think it's going to be an amazing experience for our supporters next year. I thought it was brilliant last year, but even towards the end of the season, you know, you've got Forest at home. That's a win.
Yeah.
And you're looking at it and going, well, they've spent this, that and the other. Their players, they've got this. The managers, Martin O'Neill, Roy Keane. But it was a given that we're just going to turn up and win. Hull had a fantastic home record. Yeah. You know, not been beaten since November. Well, we've got a Hull, and that's another win. Yeah. So there was a touch, not about a criticism, it was a touch of, you know, and I suppose confidence in the team that they were going to do the job. I think it'll even be more positive at Bramall Lane this year, and I think the last time that obviously the club were in the Premier League, that the home record was given the opportunity of staying in the division, and hopefully that'll be the case this year.
Yeah, because every game's seen as a challenge rather than one you should win, you know, isn't it?
Yeah, an incredible one, and you know, points are going to be a lot more precious this year, and so as I said, not really changing the outlook to the games.
I think we should freeze frame your record at this point, and you should just leave it there. Win percentage.
That's going to take a bit of a hit this year.
Win percentage across your career, 44.6%. Sheffield United win percentage, 53.6%.
That was 5 years at the Fax as well. you know, in the troubles that we had then.
Yes.
So, yeah, as I've said, quite a while since the end of the season. Yeah. That's going to take a bit of a bashing this year.
Isn't it just? It's like a cricketer with it. I always think there's a similarity with cricket. Anybody who's got over 40,
batting average is
over 40 is doing damn well. Good. Similar with a win percentage.
What's yours at the moment?
My win percentage at the moment is 100%. Charity game, Reds v Blues, victory 7-2.
He's not mentioned the last 3 programmes in a row either. Or anything.
I'm retiring.
Just got up the stairs and it was the first thing that he said to me. So.
Out for his job. Phil Jagielka, we promised that we'd come on to him because, you know, the other signings were in a certain category. It was no surprise to anybody because it had been rumoured for a long, long time. He's 36 now. You got him on a 1-year deal. You're thinking and everything behind that one.
So, possibly the only player that I would sign over that sort of age, but his connection, his calmness, his leadership skills, his experience in the Premier League, how fit he still is. 75 games over the last 4 years. You know, we've monitored why he was being kept out the Everton side. Michael Keane, 35 million. Kurt Zouma, talented player from Chelsea. So people say, well, why hasn't he played? You know, he's trying to get in amongst them two, and they're a top 6 Premier League team. So no issues about that. I've known him since you know, he was an apprentice when I was, you know, last there as a player, and when I spoke to him on the phone and got in front of him, it just cemented the sort of the relationship and the desire for myself to bring Phil into the team. Knows that he doesn't have a regular slot. He's got to earn the right, and he said that, not me. But what a great person to have around the place, and you know, sentiment, yeah, a little bit, because I know how much the club means to him and how much he'll go. Well, but it goes for every. I mean, he's a legend at Everton, so. And he'll go again for us, and he will play his games in this division.
Because I know a couple of Everton fans who were actually sad to see him go. You know, they were saying, "Oh, we could have had him for another year," and all this kind of thing. And because he came in, I think it was against Man United. He came in, he'd not played for 10 games or so, scored, had absolute man of the match performance. They were saying, "Yeah, we can more than." I don't think it was a 100% cut and dried decision not to give him a contract. You know, I think that if he'd have pushed out to want to stay, that might have changed a decision on it. But you know, he wants to finish his career. He still's got a lot of football. The contract, yet again, as with Ravel's, is appearance related for a second year. You know, financially, it's a good deal for us, and Phil's not money motivated. He wants to complete the circle, and I think it's great that he wants to do it with us. People like Jack O'Connell and stuff as well. You know, incredible for them to have him at the side of him. You know, they'll have been not even playing, you know, first team football, watching him play for England, won't they? So
well, straight away, you know, there's no standoff with Jags. He's straight into the players and a popular guy already, and a voice that obviously commands a hell of a lot of respect.
Do you see him as a coach?
I mean, we talked about that. That's his decision if he wants to go down. I'd love, you know, people like Phil to keep with the football club. I think it's really important.
There might be a role for him.
Yeah, it might be down the road. It's up to him though. Whatever he wants to go. Some players, you know, you think automatically that might be the case, and they don't always fancy doing it. No. And
I just wondered if that had been talked about.
No, well, there was no coaching role attached to the contract, but you know. We are a very inclusive staff. You know, I've always said that. You know, it's obviously myself at the front of it, but it's a very inclusive staff. And you know, from Phil's point of view, you know, we've already talked about, you know, what he's thinking, and you know, sort of the pitfalls of the Premier League, and positives as well. How you know, we shouldn't change our identity and not be fearful of the division. So that cements my view as well. Just before James's roundup. Dean Henderson, the latest on him. We obviously want to bring him back. Yeah. Manchester United. We're very, very confident that'll be done in the next 3 or 4 days. And you know, the boy has had an outstanding season with us, and you know, wants to come back. And I've always respected Manchester United's view as a football club, but you know, in conversation with them, they're very keen for him to come back. You know, Dean wants to come back and play regular football, which is refreshing for young players as well. They don't just want to sit on the bench, and he's had that attitude right the way through. He wants to prove himself. Yeah, and I certainly want that to happen as well. Excellent. James, take it away, mate. Yeah, we'll try and keep it short and sweet. Sheffield Wednesday, they've got their next friendly tomorrow night against German side Lübeck. That's after they beat Northampton 4-0 in midweek, looking very good, so I'm told as well. That's all I'm going to talk about matters on the field. Elsewhere, all our local non-league sides, they're preparing for the new season. The only thing I would say is badly handled. Yeah. Terribly badly handled. We've seen your columns, Alan. They're very strongly worded. We move on.
Elsewhere, 6th of August, you've got Hallam. Is that
Not by
right?
Sheffield Wednesday, by other parties. But
Right.
sorry, mate.
Non-league football? You've
Yeah,
got-
23s will be doing the rounds as well, which is important. I think
Brilliant.
it's great for Alan. We've got fabulous connections for Stephen.
You get up there a bit as well, don't you, up to Sandygate? Yeah, brilliant.
Definitely.
So 6th of August, Sheffield United under-23s at Hallam. That's in all the local sides. Keep your eyes peeled on Twitter and stuff, because they'll be playing some of our local league sides. Sheffield Eagles, they're away on Saturday at Brian McDermott's Toulouse in Rugby League's Championship. Toulouse runaway leaders at the moment in that league. Sheffield Eagles just outside those playoff spots, so if they can pick up a result there remarkably, they'd get themselves back in the mix for Super League rugby next season. The Open Championship at Royal Portrush underway. It's day 1 today. 2 of Sheffield's finest, Matt Fitzpatrick and Danny Willett, both taking part. Danny Willett shot 3 over par. A little bit further sort of out of the reckoning really than Matt Fitzpatrick, who is level par after round 1, just 4 off the lead. Good start for Matt. They're difficult scoring conditions as well, it must be said. Tiger Woods 6-7 over par when I came in here. Rory McIlroy finished 8 over par. And on a little plug as well, 8 over par.
He took 8 on his first
He did.
roll, didn't he?
Started off quadruple, finished with a triple. Nice. Difficult game. Sounds like
My scorecard, I think.
There's hope for everybody, Chris.
Also, a little plug as well. Chris, you know, you'll kind of been involved a little bit in this with Danny Hall, Sports Journalist of the Year at the recent O2 Media Awards, no less. He did the book
Well done, Danny.
a couple of years ago. Yeah, well deserved. A couple of years ago, he's one of our own. And now he's got the book out, a sort of a sequel to that. We're Not Going to Wembley by Danny Hall. It's out on the 1st of August. You can go on his Twitter and order that. All the royalties, of course, going to Chris.
I'm not sure about that, James, and you know that.
I do, yeah. But yes, there we go.
I've had a preview of it, a look through, and it's a very comprehensive, brilliantly written, and fantastic for you and the players, I'm sure, to have a record of such a memorable year.
Well, I think you look back now and you look back at. I look back at Tony Curry here, and there's not really a great amount of memories that we can look back at. From Dave Bassett's point of view, I don't think we even had a Player of the Year at the end of the season, and no open top bus when we went up, and I think there was just a friendly on a Tuesday against Genoa in front of about 6,000 people, and so it's definitely from our point of view for people to look back on in years come. That they've got, from the club's point of view.
What a great title! We're Not Going to Wembley. It's a brilliant title. It says everything. Really.
It's good, isn't it? I mean, in the last one.
Thankfully, because obviously with the past.
Some good stories as well in the last one. Like the fella who nipped in the dugout at Northampton, and the little selfie with you in there, and also some of the stories in it are brilliant actually. Recommended.
Absolutely, and I was honoured to write a chapter. It was a load of waffle towards the end here. Yeah.
All right, brilliant.
Trying to place him in the context of other great Sheffield United managers.
Thank you.
We'll see where he figures. Right, what did we leave to talk about? Oh no, the Biggs Bar. Very quickly, a plug.
Okay.
A plug for Danny's book.
Now plug for himself.
Yeah, for myself. Shameless. Aberdale Sports Club, September the 4th, which is a Wednesday night. I checked the fixtures. Blades aren't. Nobody's playing that night, I hope. But I have the pleasure of entertaining Ron Atkinson, and he will entertain you to an evening at Aberdale Sports Club. As I say, tickets reasonably priced. I think it's a sort of pie and pea evening, very relaxed, very informal, and everybody should have a good time. So,
I think Ron's got some stories, hasn't he?
Yeah. He mentioned you when I rang him up to fix that.
All right.
He said that Chris Wilder. He said I came across him when he was at Halifax. He said, and I said, he's going to be a good manager one day.
I was there for 5 years. It took his time.
A long time. But he did say that. And I said, you were a pro at, off the field as well as you were on the field. And he said, and why not? Rightly so, because Ron knew how to enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, he was obviously, at one of my old clubs as well, Oxford, where he first started off.
That's it.
So some of the stories that that sort of associated with Ron and being in the city, and even though we have this huge rivalry, we still know David Hurst and John Newsom and Chris Waddle and people like that, and John Sheridan. Some of the stories that they tell us when we're sitting down and having a beer are just legendary. Dean Saunders tells a story about Ron at Aston Villa, and he was just obviously very much a player's a players' man, and played, you know, fantastic football. I mean, as you imagine from Sheffield Wednesday's point of view, it was a great period of their history.
It was a wonderful era
Yep.
to cover. Direction from the top at Sheffield United. I know that you won't want to get involved in what we've all seen with the court case, but hopefully from your point of view, the club will emerge at some point with a clearly defined look forward.
Yeah, I think just to wrap it up, you know, I should imagine when both the owners went into the agreement 6 years ago, they wouldn't have expected it to come to this sort of situation. So I've got to say, you know, I've been given a budget, and both owners have been fine with me. So I just get on. I'm an employee of the football club. Just get on trying to do the best for Sheffield United. And I've always said, you know, the club's going to be long here than when myself and other people associated with the football club are gone.
It was good that compromises could be reached at critical times, like for instance in the January window, where you got key people in, didn't you? And then this preparation from the Premier League.
Allows you just to get on with your job, doesn't it? You know, day to day.
I mean, it's just, you know, you just see an awful lot of clubs in absolute turmoil, don't you? With the way they've been run at the top, and stories, horror stories, and I say, fortunately for me, I've been allowed to get on with my job and trying to affect the stuff that I can control.
Just, I mean, an impossible question, really, because any manager's going to be confident or make positive noises about the season ahead. Genuinely, do you have confidence about staying in the Premier League? And that would be great success. Do you, in your heart,
we want to win games of football, and I believe we can, especially at Bramall Lane, you know, and people look at stats and what it needs to stay up, and you know, we never really looked at it last year in terms of what points we needed to get out the division. We just hopefully got a big enough number that did, and obviously it did, and will be the same this year. I think, you know, Bramall Lane's going to be huge for us, and I think you know, listen, we're going to get turned over quite heavily at times, and I've already spoke about, you know, we might lose 2, 3, and 4 on the bounce, and it's how, from a mentality point of view, we recover from that, but I've got a hugely tough group of players and staff that have been through a lot of things that are just excited about the challenge ahead, and I think, you know, it's a great time to be a Sheffield United fan, and you know, for young supporters as well, you know, realising they're watching Premier League football at Bramall Lane this year, and hopefully it's a start of you know, the last 2 or 3 years of a start of a big era for the football club.
Yeah, I mean, you're not renowned as a good loser, but which good manager is? You know, there must be, for all the highs that you've had, you know, those weekends when you have a dip.
Oh, incredible! You know, we had you know, last year the Millwall game in the 95th minute, and you're replaying it and you're looking at it and going, you know, one big header late on, and if, you know, the ball had not rolled out and the goal, and I'm like analysing it, and then you go, shut up, that's it, you got to move on quickly.
Yeah,
and I think that's the big thing, you know, and we have, and we have the staff, I've got to lead, and the players take their lead off you as well. So from a positive point of view.
What a pity that our time is up. Just 20 seconds remaining, it's gone. And that always happens when you're enjoying yourself, and that's been a fantastic 45 minutes or so. Anybody who missed it, it's repeated here at 11 p.m, and of course, as ever, it's on my YouTube channel this evening. I'm going to take a break next week, but back in a fortnight's time. Many thanks, Chris Wilder.
Cheers, Al.
It's been superb. Take care. See you soon.